We're here today at Experimentation, and I'd like to ask you a couple questions. So what should be on CRO people's wish lists for more ambitious and effective CRO in 2024?
Making sure that organizations see the value of user research. I feel like with the current economic climate, there's so much pressure to ship, to do things, and we're just doing experiments based on opinions or gut feeling instead of actually making sure it's backed by user research.
People start to do more meaningful tests that are actually based on real customer problems. If you're not actually solving customer problems, you're not really advancing the product. You're making small tweaks, you're not making big leaps.
To get better insight into customers and what they want and what they need and what their expectations are.
I genuinely believe that good experimentation is built on solid foundations of data. You either do experimentation, you'll be making decisions, but you won't be doing it with good data.
AI. The buzzword at the moment is AI.
AI might be able to help us with some of the more cumbersome groundwork, some of the stuff that's really time consuming.
Embrace this, and I think in a year from now, people will really go like, were we back then only thinking about this? But they can also do this and this and this and this.
That is so important for us because winning in CRO is about efficiency.
Love your old tests. Those old tests that you've discarded, go back to them and do some proper qual analysis on what happened with those experiments.
Top-down leadership buy-in to support and fund your program.
Senior management support. How do we get the company raise their expectations properly so that they will embrace experimentation?
To be understood in that sense, to get management buy-in, actually making sure that their experimentation efforts, either in CRO or like pushing a program forward, are actually heard.
Quite a lot of times you're competing with your development resources and budget and so on, but that all starts with the top management support.
How can Santa and his favourite technology providers make that wish list come true?
I think technology providers are doing a relatively good job of this already. I think it's for companies more to use a varied range of tools on top of just A/B testing.
That's a good question. I was hoping Santa would surprise me with the solution.
It can be integrating into the process. I think challenging us before we set up an experiment to really mention what is this based on. Research is the backbone of experimentation.
Maybe repositories for trends that were observed or things that people can add in terms of observations that they made about how it was used and why you got the result rather than what you just saw.
I would suggest, instead of blinding stakeholders, leadership members with statistics, bring them something real, talking from recent, fresh experience. Find your way of a reliable system for constantly talking to users.
The technology providers are working very hard to make sure that their tech works well and does great stuff. And they have a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge about how to make it work, how to make it more effective. So I would lean on technology providers for their strategy help rather than just their technical help.
For technology perspective, I would say quite something else. You see also especially in the EU, where privacy-sensitive things are going around, more legislation coming up. So for technology providers, I would recommend them also to adapt already to these kind of possible outcomes. That is more a first-party cookie thing or something else that is more compliant to these kind of things.
Well, I think figuring out ways that we can actually, use AI with our qualitative analysis and research in a way that doesn't kill the quality of that work.
It's down to technology providers to provide these things. The team that I run, we are starting to very heavily use things like ChatGPT to make processes quicker. The more technology providers can bake these things into the tools that we use already and to create frameworks that are very specific for us, the better.
Second question. Sure. I mean, I'm working for VWO, technology provider. What should technology providers consider to put under the Christmas tree?
To level the ground in a way, to have a long-term effect on the industry, but also support for the program, as part of the deal in a way, I think goes a long way in making sure that programs are not just an initiative for the the quick buck, but actually like have the long-term effect on running an experimentation program.
All these companies are experimentation companies, so if you're an experimentation vendor, you should try and learn and fail and see what people are using and not using.
Better integrations with data warehouses, platforms like VWO or whoever can really help support that is to enable companies to integrate their experimentation data and push it straight into a data warehouse. I guess experimentation professionals, analysts, whoever, to use better data sets to analyze those experiments as opposed to just that one metric that was encoded into the experiment design. You'll have access to loads of metrics, plus your CRM data, your marketing data, and you can really understand the experiment better.
Providing a bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thanks, Beth.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas.